everyone. I would like to call to order the Judicial and Public Safety Committee meeting of May 3rd, 2022. Roll call, please.
Chair Ranahan?
Here.
Member Chaplin? Here. Member Kova? Member Desart? Here. Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Here.
Member Kajewski? Member Ozog?
Here.
Member Petrowski? Member Schwarzy? Member Solomon? Member Zay?
Oh my gosh. All right, so we have a quorum. And an echo. All right, do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. All right, great. So this morning you're going to see the mobile command center that supports countywide investigations and incident responses that we heard from Chief Gunther of Westmont Police Department back in November. So I'd like to thank our law enforcement partners for reacting to what they see firsthand and to reaching out to us with what they see as a public safety need. And they're certainly our partners. Merit supports 36 agencies and has responded to over 550 incidences countywide since its inception in August 2019. So I look forward to having support for that important item. Second, back last year and again in January and again in March, I requested a county breakdown of crime statistics from the sheriff. So you'll see under informational items, the sheriff was able to provide latest DuPage crime statistics as required under Illinois state law. It's important to note this information is a compilation of all law enforcement agencies' response and does not distinguish county efforts from others. As we know, many layers of law enforcement exist beyond the county level, villages and towns to state level, each having their own tax support and governing bodies. So the sheriff has indicated to me his staff does not have time to provide more specifics on calls for service than is required under this uniform crime reporting stats at this time. Under Sheriff Moore did provide overall sheriff calls for service in 2019, 2020, and 2021. And it looks like 2021 calls are down by around 1,800. So I'm going to say it's good news, but in a way, a lot is left unsaid. I think we all need to be very careful when we talk about crime statistics and where we're pulling those from and what those really look like. My concern is the county's not keeping track of its public safety record more specifically. And as I said, that does leave it open to manipulation or subjective interpretation. So a beneficial reporting initiative I have seen, others have mentioned, is other jurisdictions are employing, including Kane County is currently looking at, is a law enforcement transparency open data portal, which would allow residents, businesses, and visitors to get a detailed interactive look at calls for service and reported crimes. So after experiencing how difficult, maybe just even compile for a county board member to receive that information, for a JPS chair to receive crime statistics, I respectfully suggest that DuPage transparency portal be initiated to prevent politicization. It would support our budgeting decisions on this board and would contribute to the overarching goals of the ACT initiative. So I'd like to thank this committee. We've all worked hard to ensure public safety partners have adequate funding to best serve DuPage County residents. I know we'll continue with that. And with that, I will request a motion to approve the minutes of April 5th.
So moved.
2022. Oh, and before we start voting on anything, I will take a motion to allow remote participation of Member Ozog under 7A of the Open Meetings Act. We have a motion. We have a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Welcome, Member Ozog. And so with that, then let's take the vote on the motion to approve the minutes of April 5th, 2022. Thank you for that. We had a motion on that. We had a second on the minutes. Any additions, questions, comments on the minutes? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, the minutes are passed. Moving on to procurement requisitions, I'll take a motion on 2022-46, approval of a contract to Life Technologies Corporation for the purchase of 3 Verity Pro HID thermocyclers for the crime lab, not to exceed $19,800. This is sole source. We had a motion and a second. Questions here, comments? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion to approve 2022-48, approval of contract to Kelly Graham to identify job placement for unemployed probationers May 29th,
Second.
2022 through May 28th, 2023, not to exceed $20,625 is for probation and court services. We had a motion. We have a second. Questions here? Yes, Member Sart.
Thank you, Chairwoman Renahan. I did want to have a discussion about this item. On the face of it, I think it's a wonderful item, job placement for unemployed probationers. And I did reach out to Undersheriff Eddie Moore over the weekend. He said it was probation's item. Obviously, I didn't realize that, but is anybody from probation on here on the call? Bob?
Yes, this is Bob McKellen with probation.
Hi, good morning to you. I'm wondering about this, this contract. It's for $25 an hour, which is only 825 hours, which doesn't seem like a lot of time for job placement for unemployed probationers. Has this been successful? How long have we been doing this? What does the program look like? And finally, would this effort be better served through DuPage WorkNet?
We do work with DuPage WorkNet. They're one of the 20 agencies, at least 20 agencies that we do work with. We've had a job placement coordinator with probation for at least 10, 15 years. They specifically work with probation officers. Probation officers refer probationers, unemployed probationers to this person, and this person provides job readiness skills, resume writing, interviewing skills, mock interviews. It's all in-house. So it's a benefit because the probationers come to the probation department and we have the services in-house. And yes, it's been successful. We have approximately 70 adult probationers per year and another 10 juvenile probationers per year that go through the program.
And Bob, isn't
That's
this
what I wanted
the
to know.
second year of the same contract, second year?
Yes, this is a renewal, second year renewal contract.
For juveniles. Okay, thank you so much. I did want to hear more about the program, but we also do work through WorkNet, you said.
We do WorkNet and approximately 20 other agencies.
Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Wanted to learn more about this project. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. Take a motion to approve JPSP 015222, recommendation for approval contract to LDV Inc. for purchase of a mobile command post for the sheriff's office and Merritt to provide such vehicle for safe, effective, and efficient on-scene operational needs for long-term and complex investigations and incident responses not to exceed $802,667 from the sheriff's office. Need a motion, a second. Yes, Member Garcia.
Yeah, I just had a quick question on this. Thank you, Chair Rohan. I think what I was reading about this is that there's like 36 communities that are involved in Merritt. Is that correct? I just wanted to get that clear. And if so, I mean, the 802,667 is coming from DuPage, but how about going forward? Where is that going? Cost going to be? Is it going to be like the maintenance and the upkeep? Is it going to be from all of those things that are in Merritt, all the communities, or maybe you can tell me what's in Merritt because I didn't see that in the packet.
Sure. Merritt is a countywide task force. We do a variety of things from SWAT to major crashes, major crimes, digital forensics. We have a drone team, a public information team. We basically respond to everything.
Okay.
Ballpark this year was about 9,500 man hours in the Merritt reporting year that we responded to. So it is the 36 agencies in the county with the sheriff's office, the state's attorney's office, the forest preserve. This vehicle would remain as a county asset. So it would be serviced over at the maintenance facility through fleet maintenance, be insured under the county's insurance.
Okay, so I was misunderstanding. It's just so it's all within the county, and then it would just all be done within the county.
Correct.
All right. Thank you for clearing that up for me. I appreciate it.
Member Sart.
Thank you. This looks like a really cool unit. You know, it's got two giant 50-gallon gas tanks and different wheels on the front and different wheels on the back. I was disappointed that there wasn't a picture in the board packet. So could we have a picture of the vehicle in the board packet when it goes to full county board? Do you think there's a picture available?
I did send over the schematic, but it prints out probably this big, which is probably why you don't have it.
Oh,
I do have
gotcha.
a copy I can give you if you want to look at it. It is a rather large vehicle, yes.
And how is this different than the armored vehicle that we approved in mid-December?
So the armored vehicle is a vehicle that we will actually take and we will bring supplies right up to the front door, literally right up to the front door. So it's armored. This vehicle is a command post, so it'll be parked way off the scene, that it has room for command staff to sit in. It has room for our telecommunicators to sit in. It's going to have an overhead awning with an outdoor section for our SWAT commanders or our investigative commanders to be using a smart board and actually work outside the vehicle. So this will be remote from the scene, but it will be brought out to where we need it.
Gotcha. I expect a tour when we get it.
Absolutely.
And also refer you back, I think it was November 22nd or 23rd. We had gotten a packet, and so there might be a picture in there that is easier to access. So, Member Garcia, did you have another question? Anybody else? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes. I'll take a motion to approve. Actually, take a motion to combined budget transfers 7A, B, and C. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, combining those items, I'll take a motion to approve budget transfers for the state's attorney. This is $15,000. I'm going to instruction in school. At B, for the sheriff's office, this is $18,104. Going from various committees due to COVID pandemic. All training was done virtually, so extra funds budgeted for travel and registration for the ISHI conference and technical leader summit. The original budget overestimated for thermocycler and QAS audit. Extra funds were transferred to supply category. And at C, budget transfers $65,600. This is also for the sheriff's office. Money was entered in printing and should have been entered in software licenses. Okay, motion second, all in favor? Any opposed? Those budget transfers are approved. I'll take a motion to approve grant proposal notification GPN 02622 donated funds initiative grant PY 23 for the state's attorney's office, $77,339.
So moved.
Motion in a second, all in favor? Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion to receive and place on file the at 9A, the Public Defender's Office 2022 monthly statistical report for the public defender. Should I have a motion? Motion second, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And then I'll take a motion on 9B, State of Illinois Uniform Crime Reporting, UCR Statistics, DuPage County 2019 to 2021.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second? Second, thank you. Questions or comments here? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that is received and placed on file. Do we have any old business? Yes, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I'm a little distressed by your comments. Somehow that you're saying that our sheriff is not transparent because he didn't come to this committee. This sheriff has been to this county board and this committee numerous times to talk about anything. And, you know, I think when we just have this continual, I don't know, Toastmasters come and people want to come and answering your questions to different statistics, you know, I'm really happy that our sheriff is doing his job in protecting us. And, you know, talk about crime statistics, like you said, they could be manipulated. But the main thing is, though, the biggest crime statistic in DuPage County is our sheriff's office, our local law enforcement, and our state's attorney, who have sent a clear message here in this county that we will not take what's going on in Cook County and the city of Chicago. And we've heard many times from our state's attorney, when these people get arrested on different things, they ask, where am I? And they say DuPage County, and they shrug their shoulders and they can't believe it. That's the true crime statistic we have in our county. So we can talk about it. If you want to get our sheriff on tape and have him say something or do whatever, we had our sheriff here when we talked about the Safety Act, and he told you this was going to be a problem. We're going to see it when they stop cash bail January 1st. We can come in if we want to have a real true discussion about crime and about what's going on in DuPage County. Let's have it. Let's not tie it to statistics. Let's tie it to the Safety Act. Let's finally have a discussion that we weren't allowed to have on this board floor. Let's go out and have it and talk about what's happened since that's been passed by Springfield and how it has affected the residents of DuPage County. Not use it in just little bits and pieces. But let's have an overall talk about statistics and crime here in DuPage County on this committee.
Yeah, and I will respond to that real quickly because I want nothing more than to take the politics out of this and just talk about the facts, right? The facts, the crime statistics. The sheriff was invited to speak here today. He did send the letter as somewhat of a caveat to those statistics. So as I said, I'd like those to be used, you know, somewhat in moderation, knowing that these are not just to break down the sheriff, it is countywide. So I think you got to take it for what it's worth. But I mean, my point is to take the politics out, not to infuse more. Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Member Renahan. Just to respond to some of Member Zay's comments, when you look across the country nationally, things like carjackings and those smash and grabs, that's a national issue, not a DuPage County issue, and it really has nothing to do with the Safety Act. And there is no reason a just community cannot be a safe community. And we know that poor people are disproportionately affected by bail than wealthy people. And you can have a wealthy criminal get out on bail and you can have a poor person sit there, and it is not a fair or just system. So we can talk about crime, smash and grabs and carjackings, and crime is a national issue. It is not just a DuPage County issue, and it happens in Republican controlled cities and counties throughout the country, just like it does here in DuPage. So let's be honest about crime. And if you want to have a real discussion about crime, let's talk about it. And it's not specifically all from Cook County. I'm sure every person that is arrested for violent crime here in DuPage is not from the East or Cook County. Thank you.
Member Ozak.
Thank you. Yes, I'm unmuted. Thank you. In response to the comments about statistics versus politics, I think it's important for us to note that last year, 3 times, the Republican minority on this board asked for a letter to be sent to the governor to veto a bill that had already been passed by the legislature. I want to point out, first of all, that my state representative, Tara Costa Howard, did not vote in favor of the Safety Act. I'll also point out that the Safety Act was not our legislative jurisdiction or our legislative initiative. So I think it's important for us to really have the statistics about what's going on here, because I've already seen, and yes, we are in a political year, but I've already seen people who I will be opposing stating that we had no discussion about this. Well, frankly, there was no discussion to be held. We are not the legislative body that passed this act. However, we are responsible for following the law. We've had some issues with that in other issues as well. For instance, because of this law, we passed body cameras for the sheriff's office. Now, I understand that numerous municipalities in DuPage County already had body cameras. So we are doing what was required by the law passed by a different legislative body. So to pin on us the crime increase, that crime is rampant here without statistics, is really unfortunate. And that's what is going on already. And we're coming into 8 weeks before the primary. And this is the message that's being sent. And the only way that we can really discuss crime in DuPage County is with appropriate statistics. What is really happening here? Every single incident that's coming here is not coming from Cook County. It's not related to the Safety Act. There's been a 2-year pandemic. We've had huge upheavals in employment, in family situations, substance abuse, etc. So to pin this on us is just unfortunate. And we need statistics to understand what's happening. I don't want crime. Nobody wants crime in this area. I've lived here for 37 years. So we need to be reasonable here. We need these statistics. We need statistics that are comparable to the collar counties. Thank you.
Member Garcia, then Paczynski, and then.
All right, thank you so much. I agree with what's being said by my fellow board members, even members A, in terms of the sheriff has a very difficult job, but I mostly agree with Chair Renahan in terms of statistics are needed and we need the facts. We can't make any kind of decision here on the board floor if we don't have the correct statistics or facts. So that's all I think we're asking for is in DuPage County is to just give us exactly what the crime statistics are, not all of Illinois, not Cook County, is to just give us what's happening in DuPage County. If we have those statistics, we can actually make decisions about the best way to fund, but where we need funds to go to actually help the sheriff's department and how to fight the crime in DuPage County. This is not a political decision in terms of this board because we had nothing to do with the Crime Act or the crime bill. That was done in the state legislature. And you can agree with it or disagree with it here on the board floor, but we had nothing to do about it. To keep bringing it up here on the county board floor is absolutely wrong, because it's not talking about what we're trying to discuss, is what are the facts of the crime in DuPage County. So if we could get that information, I know the sheriff is busy. I know he has a very important job, but I know there are people under him, and there's many kinds of different software that can accumulate this information that we're asking on a regular basis. I don't think it's difficult. So that's all I'm stating. So thank you very much.
Member, Vice Chair Buchowski.
Thank you. You know, I was part of that group that tried to get the governor to veto or a mandatory veto on some of that crime bill passages. Just because it passes in Springfield doesn't mean we can't oppose it. And if you look at who opposed it, it was every state's attorney except maybe one. It was a sheriff's office who saw what this was going to do to crime. And DuPage is a very conservative county. And we want tough crime because we come here to be safe. We don't come here to be victimized. And I think what this bill does, it enhances criminals' rights and it lowers what victims should get. I think we ought to look at victims' rights as well. Thank you.
Member Ackoff.
Well, so much for taking the politics out of it. I would just like to add that it was the 3 resolutions that we brought were prior to the governor signing the bill. So we all know that passed the legislature, but the governor hadn't signed it. The state's attorney, our sheriff, and the entire association of police in DuPage County were opposed to that bill. So if we're going to sit here months later and start debating this bill again, so some people feel that they can get off the hook for the vote that they took, I guess we'll be here all day. I suggest that debate be taken out on the campaign trail and not be here on the board floor. I start hearing talk about statistics, and then I hear other people talking about nationwide what's going on when we don't have any statistics about that, and poor people and rich people and who's this and who's that. And yet they've got all the answers, but we don't have statistics about that. The bottom line is crime has increased greatly over the last couple of years because of certain actions that certain states attorneys have taken and certain legislatures have taken. You can find those in certain states, and I just think it's ridiculous. I don't know what we're leading to here with this debate, because no one's gonna on one side of the aisle is gonna agree with anybody else on the other side of the aisle, and just sit here and talk about it. I guess it's 8:25. We can go until the next meeting starts, but I think it's a waste of time.
And if we could confine the conversation, let's not go back months and months to the Safety Act. I mean, I don't know that that's really what we were even discussing to begin with. But Member Desart, did you have something to say?
Yeah, thank you. I think politics should absolutely be out of this conversation. That the main job of this board, this body, is to provide for the health and safety of our residents and DuPage County visitors. And at least that's my, to my core, my number one job here. And that's why I, along with my colleagues, have voted unanimously for every tool, every ask that the sheriff has asked. So, I mean, we value safety here. So let's get back to the conversation from Chairman Renahan about the statistics, and that's all we're asking for. When I saw this in my board packet on Saturday, when I went through my packet, I was excited to see finally we had crime statistics to go through. But once I read this, I was very disappointed in how haphazardly it was thrown together. And as my colleague, Member Garcia, pointed out, we need this data to know if we're funding the sheriff's office correctly. We need this data to know what are the crime statistics in DuPage County. Earlier this year, the sheriff of Kane County released crime statistics for his county. Earlier this year, Aurora, the city of Aurora, released crime statistics for that city, that municipality. So I don't understand why this ask, crime statistics in DuPage County, is so onerous for our sheriff to come up with. That's all I'm asking for. I just want the data. I agree with all my colleagues who say it should not be politicized, because it shouldn't. The health and safety of our residents and visitors is our number one job, period. No politics involved. I just want data to see what these statistics are without being politicized at all. Thank you.
And I've just got, I mean, I think a great example is that command center that we passed today, right? Because we heard that this was needed and it's responding to a direct need in the community. And I think my ask here is nothing more than that. Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to point out that the first time we were asked to sign the resolution to have the governor veto this bill was unanimous, 12 against 7, I believe, or 12 against 6. But the second time, or 11 to 7, excuse me. The second time and the third time, that was political. That is a stunt, okay? And now that's going to be used against all of us who happen to be running again. And crime is going to be an important issue because it's an important issue nationwide. We do have increased crime, and I've already spoken to the reasons why we may have that. But what we really need to know is what's happening in our community, in DuPage County. And it's only fair that we have parity with the statistics that we receive, Kane County, all the other collar counties. So we need to know what's going on. And I think the idea of a portal where residents, decision makers like ourselves can see what's going on is really important. Not to inflate statistics that some aspect of crime is up 300% when it may have gone from 2 incidences to 4 or 6. We need to know exactly what's going on, and that is only a fair ask. It's not political. Thank you.
Okay, Member Chaplin, and then I think we're gonna try to wrap up.
Thank you. Thank you. And, Member Ozak brings up a great point. A couple of weeks ago in finance, excuse me, we approved a contract, I can't remember the name of the company, but, for finance so that our residents can come on and see our budget online, right? We're reaching our ACT initiative, right? Transparency. We want to be transparent. And I really don't think asking for crime statistics is out of order. And we do need these statistics, like many of you have said, to make our budget decisions going forward and to make decisions on requests from the Sheriff's Department. So I think it's not an unreasonable request. And I just hope everybody keeps that in mind. So thank you.
Great. I think it's a win-win. I don't think the sheriff's going to lose. I think he's only going to win if you can provide some information. But any other old business? Any new business? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Thank you very much, everyone.